All right. Happy, beautiful evening. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski out of Houston, Texas. And I have the joy tonight of sharing with you what I think is the best opportunity we'll see in our entire life in terms of business, the opportunity of organo. But as they say, tell the story or tell your story. So I'm happy to say that when I was introduced to organo, my life was actually pretty good. My wife and I have 3 other successful businesses that were all working very, very nicely. And so income really wasn't a challenge for us. But of course, we love health. We promote health and we love sharing that as many ways as we can. And then later on, we found out, if we actually share the business opportunity and the health, we could actually create the time freedom that we didn't have. So we had a lot of things going in our favor, but with 3 other businesses, 3 kids, and other things, we really didn't have a lot of time. So I love this slide. It says organo offers you ability to save money. Certainly, you'll find that you can consume world-leading products in literally every category they're in right now. And that, by the way, would be coffee and tea and soap and toothpaste and weight loss shakes and energy drinks and detox drinks. All easily best in category. You can certainly save money on those as you get yourself healthier. And if you choose, you can earn extra income. And now how much you want to earn, that's entirely up to you. So what I wasn't as interested in was the extra money, even though I'll have to say that it is phenomenal. I was looking for the time leverage. So I'm going to share a little time tidbit with you. So my wife and I part-time over the last 5 years have shared organo consistently every single week, most weeks about 10 hours a week. And that has led to over 7,600 active team members in over 20 countries. So as I like to tell people, I've had some very, very busy years of my life, 9 years of college, years of starting new businesses. And there were weeks that I worked easily 100 hours a week and sometimes many weeks on end. So if you do a little math, if I work 100 hours a week for 50 weeks in a year, that would be 5,000 hours. So I mentioned to you that we have 7,600 team members. What if they each put in 1 hour today? And most people, by the way, can find an hour. So imagine that. If they put in an hour today, they accomplish about a time and a half in their spare time today that I could do in a year of really pushing it hard. Now, what if they do that for 50 straight days? Well, guess what? They've done more in that period of time than I can accomplish in a lifetime. And that's beautiful leverage. And we'll talk about how the income opportunity works as we go through. But first thing we're going to do is share the business and share the health benefits. But we're going to share both of those things. So I always like to tell people at the end of the presentation, we're going to refer you back to whoever invited you to this Zoom meeting, and you're going to fall in one of 4 categories. And we want you to share whatever category you're in with whoever invited you. And the first category is no and no. There's always a few people, if you have enough people in a room or on a Zoom, that'll say, you know what, I'm not interested in the product, I'm not interested in the business. And to you, we say, you know what, thank you for being open-minded, thank you for listening. And if somewhere down the road you know of someone who might benefit from either the business or the product, let whoever invited you know. Some people are going to say yes to the product, no to the business. That's fine. We love our customers. The products are amazing. And once you start with them, you'll probably realize, you know what, I want to do these forever. Some will say yes to the product and they'll want to build a small income stream. And we have a starting point that fits for you. And some will say yes to the product and they actually want to break the bank. And you know what? We have a starting point for you as well. So I already mentioned that we have coffee and by the way, tea, soap, toothpaste, etc. But I like to start talking about coffee because coffee is such a phenomenal commodity. I want to go back probably about a decade now. And there was a guy named Morgan Spurlock. And he decided to actually do a study on McDonald's. He didn't think McDonald's was very good for people. So he said, you know what, I'm going to go to 2 of the best nutritionists in the world. I'm going to get a complete and total nutrition workup. Doctors, have them look at me as well. And then I'm going to eat at McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for 30 straight days. He says, you know what, and I'm going to record in a documentary style what happens to me. Well, his movie was called Super Size Me. And by the way, part of his deal with eating at McDonald's is they said, if they asked, would you like that supersized? He says, yeah, I'll take it supersized. Well, at the end of those 30 days, he got supersized. I believe he gained over 30 pounds. He suddenly had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, was pre-diabetic, was clinically depressed. And both doctors that he looked at said, you know what, they looked at him, if you keep eating like this, you will die. So after he published that movie, suddenly moms stopped wanting to take their kids to McDonald's for Happy Meals. So McDonald's was at a little bit of a struggling point of their existence. So they have a really smart group, and they look back and they said, look, who's making money in the food and beverage industry? And this new company called Starbucks was making a fortune. So McDonald's said, okay, guys, what is your secret? And they hired away a top exec. And the top exec said, look, it's not a big secret. He says, you guys take food and, raw materials, you turn into hamburgers and Big Macs and French fries and stuff like that. And the average successful restaurant has about a 35 to 50% markup. You can Google that. He says, what we do here at Starbucks is we take 7 cents worth of beans. We add a gallon of boiling hot water, and we sell that for $15. So do you want a 50% markup, or do you want a 200x markup? Well, really no competition there. So that's how McCafe was born. And McDonald's now spends a big portion of their advertising dollar on McCafe, and the corporation is back to being incredibly profitable. But if we talk about coffee, this reference here says that basically people consume, I'll blow it up for you, 1.6 billion cups a day. 1.6 billion. Now, that's no small number, and I want to share with you the magnitude of that. So here's the deal. About 1 billion years ago, there was absolutely no animal life on planet Earth. 1 billion days ago, there was no human life on planet Earth. 1 billion hours ago was the old Stone Age, almost 114,000 years ago. 1 billion minutes ago was the Roman Empire. 1 billion seconds ago was 31.7 years ago. But 1 billion cups of coffee ago, that was about 16 hours ago, earlier today. Where I'm at in the world, 2 o'clock this morning to now, 1 billion cups. So think about the magnitude of that market. So Organo says, we're going to give a better coffee. What makes our coffee better? It's going to have this top superfood in it called Ganoderma. And what about Ganoderma? Well, basically it's been used in human history. This slide says over 2,000 years. And in the digging that I've done, it looks like it may go back much further than that, like 5,000 plus years ago. It was reserved for the Chinese royal family. It was also called the miraculous king of herbs. It's called the herb of immortality. It's also been called the herb of spiritual potency. But literally there are over 2,000 peer-reviewed medical studies on Ganoderma. So why so many studies? Well, you may know that over 80% of drugs are actually derived from plants. So the drug companies are saying, wow, this plant is good for so many things. Let's see what it can do. And then what they'll try to do is try to isolate a component of it, synthesize it, and patent it, and say they've got the next miracle cure. But reality is the herb has everything in it that you need, and it's had thousands of years of human safety. One of the things that I like to tell people about the company as well is they have the highest quality certifications that I've ever seen of any company. So I've lectured for professional nutrition companies for over a quarter century. And I've actually lectured for the companies that were the leaders in the industry of quality control. So this was one of the first things that really caught my eye, and that is that Ganoderma has more quality certifications, or Organo has more quality certifications than any professional nutrition company that I've seen. All the Ganoderma is USDA certified organic. The company is what's called GMP, meaning it's produces their product in almost like a clean room environment. It's kosher, it's halal. Those are very strict food codes, meaning that everything has to be super clean. And EcoCert, the company, takes care of the environment and everybody in the supply chain, which is really, really, really miraculous. So we could go on, I especially could go on in significant detail of what Ganoderma can do. It's tremendously alkaline. It's got all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, and water and does so many beautiful things, but we live in a world where we can't make health claims on anything that's not a drug. I know that sounds odd, but that is the reality. So one of our geniuses in the company, Mr. Holton Boggs, says, you know, we don't have to get technical. This is a very accurate metaphor for what Ganoderma does. So if you look in the background, I don't know if you can see it, but I have a fun pool, right? I'll try to show you that. There's some of it there. You can see it. And we love our pool, and we're very diligent about keeping it clean. And I have to tell you, our pool has never really looked like that on the left, but I can tell you that other people, if they let their water go for just a few weeks or maybe a month, the water looks kind of greenish and not very clear and not very appetizing. So in order to clean that, you need to put the right stuff in and pull the wrong stuff out. And in a very, very simple summary, that's what Ganoderma does to our body. It puts in all the fabulous 50, all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, and water. It has also over 100 molecules that have been studied in the medical literature for the ability to help the body to detoxify, to oxygenate, to have improved energy, to help bodies feel more relaxed. So it's been said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And actually, if you study neurology, a picture is worth about 2 million words. So just imagine this beautiful lady struggling with this condition and then suddenly switching her coffee and tea and having that kind of result. Same thing with this beautiful woman here. For years, her entire adult life, dealing with could be a very, very uncomfortable skin condition. And I can tell you that on occasion, I'll get a blemish on my face, and I'm very unhappy about it. So what if you had that your entire adult life and wouldn't disappear? But suddenly it does with coffee and tea. This gentleman here is directly on our own coffee team. And he said his wife had 10 years of skin challenges. And so that's the base of her neck. But literally that resolved after 30 days of Organo coffee. This individual, so it was a longer process, but he had a circumstance where he was actually losing the pigment in his skin. And suddenly you can see from October of 2011 to February 22 of 2013, it actually started looking better. And then a much more up-to-date picture. And sometimes people look at that and they'll go, come on, that's not the same guy, is it? Well, no, it is. And if I blow up the neckline, you can actually see that there's still an area where he hasn't yet reestablished pigment. But what I tell people is in my 25 years of clinical practice as a natural medicine doctor, chiropractor, nutritionist, acupuncturist, I had never seen skin pigment come back. And now we've actually seen it multiple times with Organo. This next picture, this young boy was having a challenge with his writing. And you can see that it's not very neat. And so the teachers were concerned. And we live in a country where 11% of children aged 4 to 17 have been diagnosed with a condition where their brain doesn't concentrate very well. And they want to give them drugs for that. Well, this little boy took a hot chocolate in the morning before school. And that was literally his printing change in 1 week. Someone actually was at my home and they said, I have a friend whose mother is really, really struggling. And, she can't remember things. And, she seems to be on a decline and she's got other things going on as well. They said, do you think Ganoderma can help? I said, it certainly won't hurt. Well, sure enough, this woman started drinking the coffee and tea and taking some capsules. And within just 1 week period of time, for the first time in a long, long time, she actually remembered her daughter's name. At about 3 months, the doctor said, I can't believe it, her memory's back. And she had beautiful, meaningful conversations with her daughter for the next 2 years. And then nature took its course and time caught up and she passed on. But as I tell people, what would it be like to gift someone 2 extra years with their mother? Or maybe you, what if you could be gifted 2 extra years with your mother or your children? Wouldn't that just be a gift that we couldn't even put a value on? So that was from coffee and tea and the skin, some soap conditions as well. But now we look at weight management. So Organo has a phenomenal weight management solution. Now, why do we call it weight management? There's some people like my son who actually uses it. He's profoundly athletic and 24 years old to put on muscle. And it is his meal replacement shake of choice with grass-fed organic whey protein and a therapeutic dose of Ganoderma, lots of vitamins, minerals, and other things. But the company has a pretty simple philosophy. 2 shakes a day will help to melt the pounds away, and 1 a day then can maintain the loss. Now, I can tell you that I have utilized weight loss shakes in clinical practice for 26 years at this point. And people always had the same 2 complaints about them. Generally, the texture was not very good. It was very, very gritty. And the taste wasn't very, very good. So people really didn't want to continue drinking it. We put people on these shakes and they go, holy cow, that's the best shake I ever had. And they never want to stop. And that's a beautiful thing because it's a better choice. As I tell people, when they buy our Organo shake, having studied and taught nutrition around the world now for a long time, I can tell you the average unhealthy meal at an unhealthy restaurant in the U.S. is about $10. You can get, even at full retail price, an incredible meal replacement shake that's delicious and healthy for you. The average price that I'm aware of is about $2.50 a shake. So when you look at this, I personally know Gerald, really fantastic guy that you can see what a nice difference for him. This beautiful one lost 48 pounds. And by the way, that's usually at 58 years old. That's a time of life where most women start actually having challenges with their metabolism. So, a beautiful picture here. You can see she doesn't look too terribly happy, and here she's absolutely ecstatic. And here's one of my most recent favorites. So we look at Frank over here, and he was really, really struggling. Then we look at this picture here. At that point, he was about 95 pounds lighter. So when you look here, you might think that's his son. Believe it or not, that picture was taken this week. So Frank started his Organo business after people started looking at him and going, my gosh, what are you doing? And how do I get some of that? He had his first Organo mixer, sold over $1,100 in products, signed up some business partners. They have ranks in the company where you can become a VIP, which is $2,500 in volume in a month. He crushed that immediately. Then he became a platinum, which is over $5,000 a month in volume. And he's knocking on the door at something called Platinum Elite, which means his business did over $10,000 or will do over $10,000 in his first 30 days in business. I got to tell you, that's really impressive, but it's really the power of what the product can do. And if you were to ask Frank, do you have any special sales skill? He says, yeah, my before and after picture. When people knew me before and they see me now, they want what I have. So that's a really good calling card. Now, we could give you tremendous testimonials about the toothpaste. It works fantastic. It's perfectly safe. People can brush their dog's teeth with it, and that's really, really powerful. It's got whitening agents. It doesn't have fluoride, any of the things you don't want. This, by the way, is a hot detox drink. I like mine hot, so it's like a beautiful, delicious tea at night that I drink. Very soothing, very calming. 8 superfood combo that helps the detox process. I actually have 2 of them here, so I love my wind down. They also have an energy drink, and the energy drink, you look at that market, that's a market that over the next few years is supposed to grow by about $9 billion. And if you do your due diligence like I do on that, you'll see that these major companies that are producing energy drinks actually have lawsuits from people that have drank it and gone into cardiac arrest because it had too much stimulation, not enough healthy stuff. So our energy drinks have products that have been proven safe, effective for literally hundreds, if not thousands of years in human clinical trial. So we've got some really good stuff to offer. Now about the business. The business actually pays 7 different ways. So when most people take on some type of job or business, they really have 1, maybe 2 ways of getting paid. They trade time for money, maybe they get some tips. But the first way we actually get paid is what's called retail sales. And so, it's absolutely been said that guess what? Starbucks is one of our best friends because they made it socially acceptable to sell a cup of coffee for $5. So we do have team members that will literally buy a sachet of black coffee for 60 cents as a wholesale cost, and they will turn around and they'll sell it for $3. A latte they'll buy for 90 cents. They'll turn around and sell it for $4. And a mocha they'll buy for about $1.25, and they'll turn around and sell it for $5. By the way, if you compare our mocha to Starbucks mocha, our mocha has 1/3 the sugar, 1/2 the calories, and a mega dose of Ganoderma, which is the wild card that makes it so incredible. So some people are concerned about their blood sugar. Some people are concerned about their weight. I think those are good things. So I always have my patients measure their blood sugar before and after a latte or before and after a mocha and compare that to before and after a good meal. And you'd be amazed. Even people that have blood sugar problems get a very small rise in blood sugar from a latte or mocha. And in fact, many of them have less of a rise from a latte or mocha than they would a meal of chicken and broccoli. So that's how magic Ganoderma can be, and these formulations can be. And when we start talking about retail sales, let me give you a couple stories. So Dakota Miller is this beautiful young lady here, and in this picture, she's 11. But at 8 years old, she actually broke the family's microwave. She stuck a fork in it. And so her parents, who are wonderful friends of ours, Guy and Neely Miller, said, you know what? You broke it, you fix it. And Dakota said, how am I going to fix it? I'm 8 years old. And he said, well, go raise money. And she said, how am I going to do that? They said, go door to door, knock on doors and sell coffee, tea, and hot chocolate. So she went on the doors and she knocked and she said, hi, my name's Dakota Miller. I broke my family's microwave and now I have to fix it. So I'm selling healthy coffee and tea and hot chocolate. And by the way, we have a money back guarantee. Would you like to buy a box? And just like that, she sold enough coffee and tea and hot chocolate to earn over $200 in just 2 hours of door to door. Her sister then got a little wind of that. Zoe, that's her beautiful older sister, and they both went door to door and decided they wanted to raise money for a church family, a couple of them, for Christmas. So in 4 hours of door to door, they cleared $500 profit to sponsor two families for Christmas. So congratulations to great parenting, great kids. But guess what? That would be pretty hard to do with candy bars or with cookies or whatever else they sell. You can sell some, but you'd have a hard time making that kind of money. Coffee, tea, hot chocolate, those are pretty universal. My son Jacob is shown in this picture, both pictures actually, but this picture he's 18 years old. He actually introduced Kelly and I to the business, and he took it and made it work absolutely phenomenally right from the very start. So when he started, he bought what's called a gold pack. I'll get to that in a little bit, but he put on a church camp t-shirt, Young Life t-shirt, and he went door to door and knocking on doors. He says, you know what? I'm raising money for church camp. Anything I make that's extra, I am going to donate back to the church so people who normally couldn't afford to go can go. 6 hours of knocking on doors, he actually earned and then donated back $1,900. Pretty impressive there, but here's a much more recent picture. Jacob's now 24, 6 years later. That was his first Mercedes-Benz. He upgraded to that one, I think, at 19 or 20. That's an S500. And here's his beautiful home that he also purchased at age 21. So dreams can come true in this business. And by the way, the company gives awards. So this was actually called a $100,000 ring, representing income that was made in a calendar year. And that was the year that Jacob was 21. So believe it or not, that's actually his vertical, jumping for joy. And I was in the audience jumping for joy as well, celebrating his incredible success. So way number 2 is actually what's called the fast track bonus. And you can get a bonus anywhere from $20 to $130 when you introduce new people to the business. So there's no limit to how many people you can introduce. So if I go back to Jacob, started out at age 18, no special skills, no special network, certainly no finances. He has added, personally sponsored, well over 100 people to his team. Now you might ask, how in the world can you do that? Well, it's not that challenging. We share coffee, we share the opportunity, and we teach others to do the same. So it could be as simple as, you know, getting dressed up like you did here and going to a local mall and talking with people, striking up a conversation and saying, you know what, I've got a new business. I actually have world's healthiest gourmet coffee and tea. I would love to gift you some with just one simple request that you basically answer, how does it taste and how does it make you feel? And if you enjoy it, you know what, then basically I'll let you know how you can get it either as a wholesale customer or even get paid to consume it. And just like that, he started signing up business partners, building a big team, creating that income by 21 and a much bigger one now at 24. So that's the fast track bonus. Now, the next thing we actually do is we start building a team. Now, this is pretty magic. You're going to build a left team and you're going to build a right team. Now, I mentioned there's no limit to how many people you can personally sponsor. So you could actually put 50 people on your left, 50 people on your right, or more, and then your team will grow a whole lot faster. But if we just look at the math by the twos, I'm going to blow this up a little bit. If you actually start sponsoring 2 different team members and teach them to do it, the next generation you'll have 4, and then 8, and 16, and 32. By the time you have 12 different doublings, you will have added over 4,000 people to your team. Now, understand that all these people above are still in place, so that really is almost 8,000 people on your team. But now, if we do it by twos, we can see that it takes 12 different generations of growth to get that far back. But the most successful people I know in this business sponsor more than 2, and some a lot more than 2. But one of our great leaders, Mr. Holtenbug, says, you know what? I like to tell people that within their first 6 months of business, your goal should be to sponsor 10 people. And by the way, it should also be to get 10 customers, and then teach each of your 10 business partners to get 10 customers. Now, I'm going to go through the math of that in just a little bit, but your first 6 months, you sponsor 10. The next 6 months, you actually teach those 10 to sponsor 10. So suddenly at a year, if the 6 month/6 month is the time frame, suddenly you have 100 people on your team. And where the magic starts to happen is over the next 6 months, you teach all of them to sponsor 10. Now you've added 1,000 team members. Now, if you have 1,000 team members, each with 10 customers, and each just drinks 2 cups of coffee a day. Now, let's put that in perspective. The average coffee drinker drinks 3.3 cups of coffee a day. They also brush their teeth. Why not use the best toothpaste? They also wash their face. Why not use the best soap? Many of them will be drinking detox drinks. Why not have the best shake? Some will drink detox drinks. Some will drink energy drinks. Why not have best in category there? But at any rate, if these 1,000 business people, each with 10 customers, just have their customers all just consuming 2 cups of coffee a day, literally over $300,000 in product will move through your organization every single month. Now, what they told us when we started our business, when they only had coffee and tea, was that the average distributor in Organo earned between 8 and 12% of their team volume. And actually, we've always found that to be true. Our numbers are still a little over 8% with our entire team, but some of the products, like the shake, don't have as much of a markup, so there's less of a profit margin. So if you just use an average of 5%, just 5% of $300,000 in volume every month, that's going to be $15,000 extra in your month, in your pocket of profit. Now, I've been in business for 26 years in clinical practice, and I can tell you I would have to make some phenomenal changes to earn an extra $15,000 a month. But in fact, we've been able to surpass that with 10 hours of effort a week now for 5 years. So pretty impressive there. So I mentioned 7 ways of getting paid, actually 8. The next are basically payments on reorders. And it doesn't necessarily matter that you know how all these things work, but just know that they do work, and they work wonderfully. And one of my favorites is actually the 7th, which is called the Global Bonus Pool. And this is brilliant. Once you become what's known as a Ruby in the company, where you do about $40,000 a month or more in volume, the company takes all the sales around the world, and it takes 3% of those, and it pays it out according to how much you have created of the global pool. So everybody Ruby above gets cut on that. And I can tell you that that's really wonderful. But the brilliance of it means that literally everybody all over the world in this business is your business partner. And you want them to succeed because you benefit from their efforts. And they want you to succeed because you benefit from theirs. They also have a lifestyle bonus or Mercedes-Benz bonus. And this next picture is literally, I'll shrink that down because I cut some people off. These are all people on our team that have either a fully paid for or company subsidized Mercedes-Benz. So again, we've got an amazing product line, we've got an amazing business structure, and we've got a proven system. The company's been in business 10 years. The system, you can get training online, but it's easy enough that really anybody with a mindset to master it can. So remember when we started, we said quite simply that people are going to fall in one of 4 categories. Some people will say no to the product, no to the business. That always surprises me, but if that's you, listen, thank you for spending the time. Thanks for having an open mind. If you know anybody we can help, send them to the person that invited you to the Zoom. Some people will say yes to the product, no to the business. That's great. We love our customers. Some will say yes to the product, but want to build a small income, and some will say yes to the product and business, and they'll want to break the bank. So I mentioned we had starter packages for everybody. So here they are, bronze, silver, and gold. So here is a variety of products that Organo has. The bronze pack has a variety of $250 worth of product wholesale. Now, everybody buys a website, and with that, they get a starter kit, but they're instantly in business in over 50 countries, and that's a $49.95 fee. The bronze pack is $250 worth of wholesale product. The silver pack is about $500 worth of wholesale product, and the gold pack is $1,250 worth of wholesale product. Now, some people might ask, well, if I could start at $250, why would I start at $500 or $1,250? Simple enough. This is a one-time purchase only, right? You only buy this one time. It starts your business, and the company is smart enough to say, you know what, if you buy the bronze pack, we're going to give you basically a fast track to earning money in the business. Now, if you buy a silver pack, we're going to pay you more ways and a time and a half as much. If you purchase the gold pack, we're going to pay you more ways yet and more than twice as much as the bronze pack. As one of my great team members, Claudio in Canada, likes to tell people, you know what, if you're going to do a job or start a business, if you could get paid $10 an hour, $15 an hour, or $20 an hour for the exact same effort, what would you do? And most people say 20, and that's actually what the gold pack allows for you. So the analogy is actually very, very accurate. Now, for just a few days remaining, there is an amazing deal going on right now. The company had their national convention in February, and they have a special where they call it their Back to Basics pack. But this pack has over $700 in product, wholesale product, for only $489. And as I share this with people, I tell them that, you know what, if I actually ran into 1,000 people I knew and I said, you know what, I'm going to give you 7 $100 bills for 500 $1 bills, I'm thinking 1,000 of the 1,000 would actually say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me get it. Well, that's the same thing with this. This package is amazing, but it will run out very, very soon or at the end of the month, whichever comes first. So while supplies last or at the end of the month. Additionally, this is part of the company's, what they're calling Red Zone Zoom Blitz. So we're closing the month strong with some of the greatest leaders in the company. And we're going to have another opportunity just like this tomorrow. And the advantage here is if you start your business tonight, you can launch it tomorrow and then the next day and the next day with experts sharing how this business works. So with that said, I'm going to summarize with how my son Jacob introduced me to the business. He said, Dad, everybody drinks coffee. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to be healthy. This seems to be a no-brainer. And you know what? I found that to be absolutely true. So I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful. Good night, and God bless.